Okay, here we go. Game 2. Golden Guardians. Love the tempo. Love the way they've been playing. Everything's been good. Everything was good. We didn't have River folding at opportunities. He kind of got some plays in, forced some pressure up on the Cassante. Kennen was extremely strong. Now we have a completely flipped script here with Poppy versus Nar. Now Poppy is going to lose 10 CS here to the Nar, but then will constantly be threatening lethal. Because at any moment, Vi coming out can ult the Nar. Especially if you get a Q flash to start, you use ult to continue the fight. Poppy will knock you into a wall and then put up the steadfast presence to make sure that you can't jump away, and boom, that is the end of mini Nar. So even if you get a rush plated steel caps, which I'm sure is what Nar is going to do, you're still going to have lots of trouble into a matchup like Poppy. We see champions like this that have the dash, that have some damage, that can punish mini Nar. Camille being one of the more classic ones. You just you win via attrition. You have a shorter cooldown on your dash than their jump, and you whittle them down. You get in as many punches as possible, and Poppy at any moment, right, can just E forward onto the Nar, and then you're just playing the baiting game. Like, I can have my steadfast presence up. I can either trade you with extra bonuses on my armor and magic resist, or I block your jump away, or you don't jump away, right? So you try to jump away and you definitely lose, or you don't jump away and you try to fight me and I've got better stats and I win the trade. So that's always the interesting dynamic from the Poppy and the Nar. So now we've got Talia versus Lissandra, this time opting with Talia. Going a little bit longer range, has a little bit more wave clear early on than the Ahri. Has a little bit more agency versus a Lissandra, and also can get cross map as an answer to Lissandra. So if Lissandra starts roaming, you might expect Talia to do the same thing. Now, here we go. Level 2 spike from Woody and Waco. Lucian Nami, what you can do, as soon as their spells are down, you do turn it on them. They are weaker base stats. They are lower range. You've got the Annie. She can be charging up, with the shield, keeping the damage, chip damage to a minimum. If they survive the initial onslaught, Zeri can clean house on this fight. You see this Annie constantly stepping up. They're using the shield cooldown as a way to trade. Absolutely love this. Taking it to the Lucian Nami. Also, Vi being on their half of the map means that they can be a little bit more aggressive. Now, Vi might have to make a visit down here because you're about to see level 3 spikes come in. Now, Lucian Nami is probably going to start fighting for this. Now, Stixie and Huhi should be as well. But they have to be careful. They have to wait until River is in position before they truly start going up. Because if they lose the momentum to get to level 3, and it looks like they're actually going to get it, they win the fight to level 3, which means they can take that trade. But if they lose that fight to level 3, which could easily happen, right? Lucian could just put a W into the wave, hit Q through you into the wave. If they accidentally hit 3 as that fight's starting, not accidentally, but incidentally, then you are going to lose that fight, right? Lucian Nami is going to be as strong as anyone at level 3. So instead, Annie, Zeri, they fight for the wave. They get 3. They go for a last little trade, get a little bit more resources out from the Lucian Nami, and they recall, saying, hey, we don't want to be in the lane with level 3 Lucian Nami, and we want to get out. What I don't like about that play is that River was nearby. You actually want that situation, right? You want them flexing. That's poor by Stixie. You want them trying to flex as your Vi's right there. Potentially not having enough vision, but you saw that, look at these wards, right? Ward down in the bottom of the wave. This is what they got coming back out into the game. They say, all right, we're going to dump all of our wards together 4 minutes in. We're going to protect this side of the map as Vi goes back to the top side. So I love that play pattern, but if you know that Sejuani's topside and Vi is nearby, you're happy to see Lucian Nami play aggressive, because I would go right into the waiting arms into a Q flash for the Vi. They opt not to, which means that they step back and spend less money. Very important to note that a Vamp Scepter is going to lose to Serrated Dirk. Now, the Vamp Scepter, what it does do for your team, says, all right, anytime that you go for these short burst trades, I will at least be able to heal them back up. But anything resembling an all-in is going to be hugely problematic. And now this confounded wave state with Vi being nowhere near. You see Vi having to come over. River is beelining to the bot side because they need help getting this wave in, even with Zeri's long range. Now, the fact that it's pushed in, they're going to take it and try to turn it on its head. They're saying, all right, we're stuck in this push, but if you guys are going to freeze here and threaten a gank, what we can actually do is take Dragon. You think that you're freezing and you're holding on to a good position. We're actually just letting you freeze because it means that we're taking Drake. So Golden Guardians, again, just spot on with aggressive macro decisions. Junja mistiming his WQ combo there. Now this is going to be a dead Talia. No, they end up not going. Oh, it's not 6 from River. Of course not. 6 minutes into the game, but they do get themselves the Dragon. Beautifully played. The one downside to this is that bot wave was frozen the entire time, so they are losing out minions there, which means Vi needs to come back, right? So they're going to make this play still. Vi's going to come hover. The good news for this is extra shared experience on the wave means that they'll be okay to get her to 6. But they end up pivoting, right? Because enough of this wave came in. It's going to force the rebound on the push. Lucian never able to pull the trigger here. Smite. They just stopped. The call was hard stop. And there it was, stuck. 860s, 820s. And just sits there. Now, Vi coming in. Still not 6, but going to hit 6 off of these minions. Almost assuredly. Yeah, Lucian trying desperately to get the rest of that play, but can't get it. River using the E on the wave actually did not. I hate this. No. Okay, you don't want to do that. Lucian is licking his wounds, and you're in a 2v1 situation. You do not push the wave there. You do not do that. Absolutely. Let the opponent get stuck in this horrendous situation. They end up deciding to push it, which means that they'll go shop and they'll be okay to buy. But that is not nearly as much of an advantage relative to what they could have gotten. Now Poppy sussing out the 3-man gank here. Uses the ult preemptively. Something you can also do as the Poppy is wait till they're actually coming in and taking aggro. The risk that you have there is that the amount of crowd control that's coming out potentially locks you up or knocks you out of your own ultimate channel. So he opts to do it up front and early to just stop it in its tracks. The other thing you can do is you can do it to the wave. Now let's see what Licorice does here. Almost definitely going to hold this wave. He might chip damage the backline, and it looks like he just cast his Q, so probably doing that. He might actually fight for it, saying, hey, they're rebounding to their lanes. If I get my recall in right now, I might be able to make impact on the map. Would have preferred, again, a little bit of freezing on either side, but freezing leads to passive gameplay. So, opting the comms from Golden Guardians, and the reason why I won't get too upset about the lack of freeze, especially in top lane, they're getting stuff done, right? They are here to combat. They are definitely working. Now, here we go. River, you're just going to bait. You're just going to say, all right, wait longer. Nar does not know, not yet. Of course he knows. He's got the ward in the pit. Now, are you going to get there in time? The smite. Oh, he good to opts for the fight. Sejuani with the... Was that a better smite? Now, if it locks them up and they get the kill, then it's worth. You're happy for that trade. Licorice has to be a little bit careful, though. This is a plated steel caps Gnar. You're going to have to walk around. And now this is the problem that you get with pushing. If you had just frozen, you would have been okay. This ward, worth noting. This ward right here, and you need to place it about put like a Teemo between the wall and the ward, and then put the ward down. If it's here, it will not see the wards on the edge of the pit. It would not see one here, it would not see one here, right? So you want it all inside this full ring to make sure that it sees the vision. So that whole time, they thought that they weren't in vision, but they were. That is something that needs to be improved. There is no reason to ever put a ward hugging the wall. None. You do it if it's a green ward, right? If you're putting down a normal trinket ward or vision ward, then you put it against the wall because you want it away from the opposite corner. But in this case, control wards should always be one ring in. You'll see the rings when we see the dragon pit, especially, they're very pronounced. There's rings, right? And there's a one full ring around this table, this circle, and one ring in is where you can put that control ward between the first and second ring. But they don't do it. end up paying the price. They're on vision. They think they're setting a trap, but really the trap is on them. They get Sejuani is able to steal it. They do get the turn back on Sejuani, but she is happy. They get the Rift Herald, has a CS lead for herself, and we're going to see the same build that we saw last time, which is components into Warmogs, right? So we saw a Bomby Cinder into Warmogs into Bramble, and I expect to see something very similar for this game, right? They're looking to be upfront. Bomby Cinder to help with the clear is enough. It's a little bit of early damage. It's not that much better to be a Sunfire. Ever since the buffs to Bombies, that's kind of been the case, right? The Baus has been a big proponent. Like, why finish Sunfire? Just build Bombies, let it be Bombies, and that's it. You don't need to do the rest, especially if Bombies is good but armor is bad. Sometimes that's the best situation. But she's going Bombies to help with the clear. Speeds up the clear. It's a little bit of health. It's a little bit of damage. And then you go into Warmogs so that you can be the front for this team, right? The team doesn't have very good range without you. Lucian and Nami need to get up close. Talia's going to try to be walling in. So Sejuani will always get to step forward. Looks like they're pressing up. The call is to go back. Good call by PSG to step back. You can always press up as Sejuani. You take a little bit of chunk damage. That's okay. You come back. You walk right out. Using the Frost passive, right? Getting that extra armor. Even though it has been nerfed, it's still very strong. And Warmog's just great synergy. You just walk up, take damage for your team, rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Now Poppy, here we go. Showing where the counter pick comes from. Oh! Licorice on form. Looking beautiful there. Now, may have been able to continue that if he had just a little bit more mana. It looks like he was strapped for one more Q. The cooldown would have been down, of course, but may have opted to just dive under the turret. Instead, taking the miniature win for themselves, especially at this perfect timing where the teleport is not up from the Gnar. Now, the correct answer from PSG, as they do so well. All right, you're strong on one spot. We'll go be strong somewhere else. This is something that they've been doing better than any team in the tournament, even the teams that have been undefeated, G2 and Billy. Even they haven't really had situations to be playing from behind, but even in moments where anything goes wrong, they have not necessarily made a cross-map play. But here we go, 4 plates down. Lucian and Nami almost unlocked. You do see the Serrated Dirk into Gale Force build. This is something that has been put on the shelf a little bit recently, but is still the strongest spike that you can get on Lucian, right? Serrated Dirk, fast spike. Then you go for Gale Force because Collector's not really actually spiking you that much, whereas Gale Force is tremendous. Then you'll see Rapid Fire Cannon. Then you might see a continuation where they build out, but they usually at that point they just sell Serrated Dirk, or they keep in their inventory. They buy a third item, and basically once it's available to turn into a mythic, they can go for the sell, or they just hold it the entire game as a like item half, right, and go 4.5 items before swapping it out. So very common. Used to be the way, right? It used to be just the way that Lucian was built. But more and more recently, we see just Gale Force into Rapid Fire. And those teams, like, you have to be snowballing to go for that. You need to be so far ahead where you're just walking up and getting those auto attacks in those trades. If you're not, you still have to fight for that win, which they haven't gotten yet, right? 0-0-0. That's why you see this Serrated Dirk. All right, I like this from Golden Guardians. Again, proactive, coming to the side, taking Beach Vision. Getting a little bit deeper now. Are they going to force the fight right now? They catch on Waco because he's alone. They take the pressure, and this is what I love. Golden Guardians has been fast to pull the trigger. They say, hey, we're harassing you at your red buff. Okay. Just enough of you have come. Okay, great. We're going to transition immediately. We're going to go kill the Lucian. Boom. Just like snap, call. Boom, done. Absolutely love that they're going for it. Now, we have to be careful. Annie gets locked up to start this fight. Tibbers is going to go a little bit crazy, but now we've got a ridiculous fight under the turret, and this is not going to favor them. Stixie able to flash out. No way that he's able to survive the rest of this. So Licorice coming out, but that is a win for PSG for sure. 4 corpses on the side of Golden Guardians. At the price of only 3, really only 2, right? It was the Lucian that was gone, and then they used a lot of the ultimates to get there, and then getting stuck. Annie taking turret aggro while being locked up. Now, this does mean that Sejuani gets catapulted ahead in their build. Check this out. Has the Merc Treads and the Warmogs done. Oh, I don't like that flash at all. Maybe thought that that was a Q coming at him and not the ultimate, but there's a pretty loud sound effect from the Vi. So let's see. How does Huhi get locked up right here? Flash. Oh, ooh. Team was not in position for that yet, Huhi. I like the idea, but the team was not in position for that. Now, one thing that Zeri can struggle at is right here, these under turret plays. Your bullets can get blocked by the turret if they're positioned just right. You saw a little bit of that, staying alive a little bit longer, but you do get that auto attack off, and once you do, that will be the kill. Zeri traded away, though, and look at the gold difference. Everything in favor of Sejuani, but everywhere else, it is Golden Guardians being favored. Now, I would have expected top lane to be more swung than this. I guess it hasn't had enough time to catapult. We just saw that, like, you know, catastrophic trade pattern from Poppy, and that's going to come back. Now you see Gnar going for Trinity Force. Here we go. You say you're going to be a Merc Treads Warmogs Sejuani. You're trying to get chipped and walk out. Well, what about all in? And they end up taking the advantage. She's not tanky enough just yet. Only having health plus Merc Treads means that they are able to get her down. Well played again. Golden Guardians just showing that they are willing and able to just pull the trigger, make concise, consolidated plays. Would love to hear the comms on this team. This is what, if they're going to succeed, this is how it's going to be, right? You're going to have to be the proactive team. So absolutely love what they're showing. And make no mistake about it, you know, PSG has taken games off of the best teams in the world. And that was with incomplete rosters, right? PSG at the last three international events, right? It was Worlds, MSI, and Worlds. I want to say it was all three. Have taken games off of the best competition. So, and in those events, they've been missing players, right? Someone is either on the COVID list or on the travel restriction, whatever it is, and they haven't been able to get in. But there we go. We see our first kind of bigger mistake from Gory, getting picked off in the side lane. Now, it does take the Taliyah ultimate and the Gnar ultimate, right? So that's two of them down. You'd like to see a third one down before you just kind of start forcing fights on the rest of the team. But they will say, hey, you know, those are big tools. They won't be able to make that combination. Specifically, also, Taliyah and Gnar have incredible synergy with their ultimates, right? Taliyah putting up the wall behind the fight makes it much easier for Gnar to find his angles. This is one of the reasons these champions get paired together in pro. Make no mistake about it, they are trying to do that. Taliyah is trying to wall off the back of the fight. Now, we haven't really talked about the shape of the fights so much. Very much front pick here from Lissandra, Vi, Annie. Zeri just front to back with engage, right? Saying, hey, we can engage. Poppy can split up the fight. She'll be the steadfast presence in the middle. So very much just kind of a battering ram. Not much chase, but just first impact, right? I just want to hit you hard and fast. That's what they did to the Sejuani. Now, on the other side, you see Lucian Nami, and this is something that the LCK did. They paired Lucian Nami with Taliyah, and then you have the natural pairing of Taliyah and Gnar. So you've got tons of synergy here, where Taliyah says, put a wall at your back, and then we step forward with Lucian, Sejuani ultimate, make a little space for Gnar to jump in and try to dunk you to the wall. And if they can get anything resembling that fight, they will win. Golden Guardians does not have like the uber tank. Poppy, you know, will get tanky, but he's got this Defiant Sunder build, not going to be that big for sustaining in these fights, but very much trying to just, you know, pick apart the engage. They want to stop it before it happens and say, hey, if Lucian ever steps forward and you guys ever try to wall behind us, we will just engage on Lucian, with Lissandra and Vi being basically point and click. I mean, they are point and click CC combinations, why we see so much of them together. So easy to put these two champions together. Really two of my favorite, probably my two favorite champions right now for mid jungle. A lot of people still on Ahri and Wukong, but I think these two champions just do it better. Lissandra's kind of more one and done, whereas Ahri can sustain more over the course of a fight. Now, something that we used to see from Lissandra's was Everfrost, but now better, I think, changed AP ratios, right? This is why we're getting more spell pen from Lysandra. Looking to say, hey, you know, we are a lot of catch, but I do need to be a source of damage for my team, especially since we have low magic damage. And he's going to be putting lots of resources into things like Lucid Boots and Shirelia's Reverie. All right, now here we go. Junja jumping over the wall. Do they get the fight that they want? Poppy is slightly out of position, but there's only 3, so they don't get what they're looking for. It looks like both teams, if they watch the replay, they're gonna kick themselves and say, hey, we could have done more with this based on what happened. So there we go. Shirelia's, yep, there we go. Shirelia's and Lucid Boots done from Annie. The lower damage build, right? You're there for the burst and setup, and your team is going to follow up. So Lysandra's going to be the source of magic damage. Look how much damage Licorice does right here. Insane, and they're able to get the catch. Didn't even see this happening over on this side of the map, actually. Well played, and showing how good Lysandra is, just setting up anybody. Also, love that because Annie is going Shirelia's and Lucid, it would be a mistake for Poppy to go tank and for Lysandra to go Everfrost, right? That is what the call is as far as what the combination. Ooh, River. Oh no, double dashes here. This is not going to be enough. This is going to be a dead River. Goes deep into the team. You have to be careful with that Lucian. When he's got all those dashes up, he can get you so far out of position when you ultimate him. You want to wait till he aggresses forward. You'd like to see an ultimate come forward from Sejuani, for example, and then a dash forward from the Lucian before you go for the ultimate re-engage. But as I was saying, yeah, if your team decided for tank Poppy and Everfrost Lysandra, then you'd be low on damage, right? And your team might not have enough to get Zeri to the point where she can clean up these fights. Now, this would not be a good fight. They should not be going. It looks like Huhi and Licorice are going to look to just hold this angle, maybe catch someone on the rotation. Gory going for a flank position, so Stixay actually lining up for an effect. This is not what you want, Licorice, though. This is a little bit too far up, and Junja is by himself, but Junja is the one that wants to get caught. And again, with the Merc Treads going to shrug off the majority of this damage. And because you get chunk, ooh, Huhi, boom, flashes in. He's using everything. Lysandra self-ults under turret. I don't like that play. Your team, you want to do that while you have the aggro. A little bit too passive. Does get 4 people, but ends up not being enough damage. But it is just enough for Zeri to go through the fight. But Yubao staying alive. Junja staying alive. 2 supports and a carry. Not the worst. You end up getting 2 for 1 dead, which means that they're able to get this turret. Could have been, and I kid you not, probably a 5-for-0 ace if Lysandra doesn't self-ult there. We'll definitely see another chance at looking at it, but love the play, right? Huhi just showing up. Boom, just flash in. Now this part, not so great. Oh, they're going to show this is the beginning. River, good job dodging that. But boom, dash, Gale Force. Using the E-dash first, that the Gale Force will also still connect. That is a very tight rope to walk. But here's the rest of it. Licorice finding a little bit of a chunk on Junjia. Let's see who right as the wave comes up. Charges up the stun. Doesn't wait for the minion wave. They're not expecting it now. Right there. Boom. If you go and you just lock up Yubao right there, he dies quickly on the champion. You still have stopwatch. And the rest of the tools to survive in that fight. I could see it if you're the one taking aggro, and maybe that was the plan to try to take aggro. But here we go. Oh, continuation fight coming up immediately. Now it's perfectly positioned for a Nami tidal wave, but the upfront damage comes in favor of Golden Guardians. Now here we go. Not the target that you want to chase, not the Sejuani. Licorice, however, very happy to go after Lucian. Boom! Look at that damage. All right, Gale Force is down. E is down. Poppy looking. He's got the charged auto attack. Oh, he misses. He goes for a click. It ends up going off of a minion. But you know what? Buys enough space for the team. Deadman's Plate is going to get the Poppy repositioned. And in fact, might even just look at hitting the Gnar right there. Kind of actually surprised that he used the Buckler passive. Look at Poppy's angle, right? Just waiting. Say, you guys are going to dive in. No, we're just calling it off. All right. They'll try to rinse and repeat, probably around the dragon pit since it's up in 2 minutes. The Baron, they'd be happy to give the dragon and fight for Baron. This is something that we don't see often enough. When you have a 3-dragon lead, use the pressure of Dragon's Soul to get Baron. Baron is the better prize. And the other team will be panicking sometimes. But what we've seen over the course of 3 years of this meta with these dragons, people have realized, like, yeah, you defend the Baron, right? It used to be you could catch them napping. They'll be like, oh, sweet, we got the dragon quick. But not so much the case anymore. But we'll see. Luckily, the death for right now, we don't want to say a Poppy death is good, but the good thing is it happened right now, so they will be able to get back on the map. The downside is that they're going to lose this turret, or maybe not. Sejuani trying to leverage her health point bar as a way to get forward. Now, how many ultimates were used? Just the one, right? Sejuani, they were able to pick the Poppy off with just basic abilities, which is a bad sign. I love what he did there, aggroing the Baron, say, hey, you want to take some damage while you're in here? Now, Zeri going to have a tough task, does have the Runon's Hurricane, but they are going to lose this turret. Now, losing this turret means that they lose a little bit of their ability to contest waves before Dragon. They did have a 2-turret advantage, which means that they could bury. Previously, they could bury these turrets or bury the waves down on the other side of the map. And the further you can get it down, the more time, more space that you afford yourselves for getting things like jungle vision or pressure into the pit. Now, Lysandra is going to be responsible for the side wave. I expect Poppy to be coming in mid and then to position with the team, but largely we're going to see Zeri, Vi, and Annie moving together into the jungle here. You let Poppy, who is the tankiest, able to survive on their own in the mid wave. Stixxay also going to be the longer range, and you say, all right, whichever one is there. If the fight starts going to the river, we'll move Zeri over. Poppy can clear this and then flank in. They opt to move in together and they give up the mid prio. They say right now is the play. We're going proactive with Poppy. Steps to the side before throwing the ultimate to make sure to get Sejuani out. So now Talia puts the wall to them, but they're going to say, let's burst the dragon. We'll take the fight as it comes. They end up using steadfast presence so that there's no dash, and Vi is able to get the kill on the dragon, which means they've got the soul, which means they're going to go for the rest of this fight. Make no mistake, they're going for the rest of this trade. Even Tibbers is spraying the Inferno soul here. Vi gets in on the team, able to collapse, and the upfront damage, there it is. Zeri is going to chase and have a field day now, using the dash. Really clean mechanics there. Resetting the aggro, and they get everybody. Waco will be the last man standing. I expect River to just start the Baron right now. Now, Annie can go start pushing. Annie should start pushing right now. If you put one shield on your team, that's it. Go, start pushing. Please, please, please. All right. They're opting not to do it. If Annie started pushing, look at these timers. 13 seconds on Nami, 23 seconds on Gnar. She'd already be with the wave. The wave would already be in. They would be getting themselves this turret. This is a missed opportunity by an Annie. The buff would be coming in right now. You'd be getting that wave all the way in, and it would be breaking the base with no one left to contest you, and the teleports would not be able to get any place behind you because they're respawning later. So Golden Guardians opting to give up mid prio, saying, hey, people usually dance around this, but we'll just go and we'll bite the bullet. Junja just not being able to get into the pit. Masterfully done by Licorice. Fighting for the soul. Well done. Pull the trigger fast. Again, another just fast preempted play, right? You're just making the proactive motion, saying, hey, we're going to go fast. We're going to do it now. That is what this team is doing exceptionally well. So right here again, check out this mid wave. You finish this kill. If Annie goes and picks up the wave, right, her damage is inconsequential to the Baron. But if you go and you push that wave in, then you're actually collecting that entire wave, which becomes a point of weakness for the macro checkmate. Now, they are in a winning position, right? They've got the Baron, they've got the lead. They've got a fantastic team comp that's going to scale just fine. But you'd like to have that one tool down. Now we see Sejuani finding an angle. They get chain CCs into River. has to walk out of the rocks before using the rest of the Q. Now, you can use the Q and get through the finish. The stun will only come at the very end. Beautifully done by Lysandra, saying, you're trying to get onto Zeri. Our game plan holds. We don't peel by just stepping back. We peel by going forward. Dives into the team, creates a little bit of backwards pressure, and now they have to worry about Licorice coming in for a flank. You can have one person in mid. This is a misuse of the Talia wall. You actually want those minions to die under turret right now. Now they have no pressure. They have no way to get back in on this. Licorice is going to be feeling very strong. They move over to the mid side. That does leave Zeri alone for a moment, but they know that the Sejuani does not have the engage tool, and neither does Talia. So they are unafraid, right? This is unabashed. They can just continue wailing on these turrets because they know all the ultimate tools are down. This is something PSG, if you're going to use those ultimates, you need to commit. You need to try to make that fight happen entirely. They opt for the 2 broken turrets, saying this is enough. This is enough. Now, they haven't shown the propensity to create slow pushes. So if you're truly going to leverage this into an advantage, right, you want to create slow pushes mid and bot, and you want to siege top, right? Both of those are happening. Now, what they may opt to do is just send Poppy to fix this wave. They may say, hey, let's finish the job on these 2 turrets. But if you create slow pushes, right, Annie helps to clear out this wave, I should say. You give it to the Zeri. Zeri takes this wave. The next wave you go and you just kill 1 caster. Then in the bot wave, you kill all 3 casters on the even wave. Those 2 waves will coincide and move in together while the pressure's up. Now, they opt, instead of setting the slow pushes up, to say, hey, you know what, our level advantage will take care of that for us. We're going to go and immediately go be strong on the top side. They end up getting a pick for themselves, but with no wave coming in, it's going to be very hard for them to leverage anything else here. Now, they do catch Waco. Oh, they jumped out. Oh, they had just enough. Good job, Poppy, pinning him to the wall and then keeping the steadfast presence up to stop the dashes. And look at these dives. They're moving it together. That is GG indeed for the Golden Guardians themselves. They're playing great, man. I love this team. This team is growing on me. They got stronger and stronger through the American playoffs. You could see the confidence building. They still had some room for improvement there. Ooh, my goodness. Don't int, guys. You actually need to go win the game here. 6 save. Careful not to get this stuff blocked. Licorice peel. Okay. Thank you.